Time has a remarkable way of revealing the power of small decisions. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Months quietly transformed into years. The village itself slowly changed with time. A newly paved highway brought more travelers through the area. Additional buses began stopping near the old station. New shops appeared along the roadside, bringing fresh opportunities to local businesses. Many shop owners welcomed the increase in customers, but few benefited from it as much as Sam. Not because he had the largest tea stall, not because he sold the cheapest tea, and certainly not because he had the best location. People returned for one simple reason. They remembered how he made them feel. Every customer who walked into Sam's little tea stall was greeted with genuine respect. He listened more than he spoke. He remembered people's names. He asked about their families. He smiled sincerely. He served every cup with care, whether the customer was a wealthy businessman or a struggling laborer. His kindness became his greatest advertisement. Travelers who stopped once often returned weeks later. Many brought their friends. Some even adjusted their travel schedules just so they could enjoy another cup of tea while talking with the man everyone had started calling the wise tea seller. Sam never asked for that title. He never tried to impress anyone. He simply continued improving himself one day at a time. And people naturally noticed. One afternoon, a young university student stopped by during his journey home. While waiting for his tea, he noticed the old book resting beside Sam. "You read every day?" the student asked. Sam smiled. "Every single day." "For how long?" "About 1 hour." The student looked surprised. "You've been doing that for years?" Sam nodded. "I made myself one promise, and I never broke it." The young man looked genuinely curious. "Has it really made that much difference?" Sam looked around his little tea stall before answering. "When I first opened this place, I only served tea. Today, I serve ideas. The tea brings people here, but wisdom keeps them coming back." The student smiled. "I've never thought about learning that way." "Most people don't," Sam replied. "They think education ends when school ends. But life continues teaching those who continue learning." The student left carrying much more than a cup of tea. He carried a new perspective, and that was becoming increasingly common. People no longer visited Sam only for refreshments. Many came searching for encouragement, for advice, for hope. One quiet winter evening, as Sam closed the shop, he looked at an empty corner beside the entrance. A simple idea crossed his mind. It seemed almost ridiculous, but the more he thought about it, the more it made sense. The following week, he built a small wooden bookshelf. It wasn't expensive. It wasn't beautiful. It simply held a collection of secondhand books he had slowly gathered over the years. Above the shelf, he placed a handwritten sign. "Take a book. Read a page. Change a life." Some villagers laughed the moment they saw it. A reading corner? Next to a tea stall? What a strange idea. Others shook their heads. Books don't belong in a marketplace. They belong in schools. But Sam had learned long ago that people often criticize what they don't understand. So he simply smiled and kept going. At first, very few people touched the books. Days passed. Sometimes an entire week went by without anyone opening one. Still, every evening before closing, Sam carefully dusted each book. He arranged them neatly. He believed that if knowledge had changed his own life, eventually, it would find someone else who needed it. Then one afternoon, a little girl waiting for her father picked up a storybook. She quietly sat in the corner and began reading. The next day, she returned. A week later, she brought her younger brother. Soon another child joined them. Then another. Within months, the reading corner was filled every evening. Children read stories together. Workers stopped by after long shifts to read newspapers. Students practiced English aloud. Some elderly villagers even learned to read for the very first time. Without planning it, Sam had created something extraordinary. His tiny tea stall had become the heart of the village, a place where people didn't just drink tea. They grew. They learned. They inspired one another. Years continued passing. The little wooden stall that once struggled to survive gradually transformed into a beautiful roadside cafe. It was warm, clean, peaceful. Large windows welcomed the morning sunlight. Fresh flowers decorated every table. Shelves filled with books lined one wall. Visitors from neighboring towns often stopped there after hearing stories about the famous tea seller whose conversations were said to change lives. Some arrived expecting to meet a wealthy businessman. Instead, they found the same humble man wearing his familiar smile. The only difference was this. His circumstances had changed. His character had not. Despite his success, Sam refused to abandon the habit that had built everything. Every night, no matter how busy the cafe became, no matter how tired he felt, he still sat quietly with a book. 1 hour. Every single day. Because he understood something few successful people ever forget. Success isn't what creates discipline. Discipline is what creates success. One peaceful summer evening, as the sun painted the sky with brilliant shades of orange and gold, Sam noticed a young man sitting alone outside the cafe. His clothes were worn. His shoulders slumped forward. His eyes carried the same hopelessness Sam had once seen in his own reflection years ago. Sam walked outside carrying 2 cups of tea. He gently placed one on the table. "This one's on me," he said. The young man smiled weakly. "Thank you." For several minutes, neither of them spoke. Finally, Sam asked quietly, "What troubles you?" The young man sighed deeply. "I've tried everything. I work hard. I dream big. But nothing changes. No matter what I do, I always end up in the same place." Sam listened carefully. He didn't interrupt. He didn't rush to give advice. When the young man finished speaking, Sam asked only one question. "Tell me honestly, how much focused time do you invest in becoming a better version of yourself every day?" The young man looked confused. "I don't know. I watch motivational videos sometimes. I make plans. But I never seem to stick with them." Sam smiled gently. "I used to be exactly like you." The young man looked surprised. "You?" Sam nodded. "I believed motivation would change my life. But motivation comes and goes. What changed everything was consistency." He stood, walked inside the cafe, and returned a few moments later holding an old book. The same worn cover, the same faded pages, the same book an elderly traveler had once placed into his hands on a rainy evening many years before. Sam carefully handed it to the young man. The boy examined it curiously. "What do you want me to do with this?" Sam smiled. "Read 1 page." The young man laughed softly. "Only 1 page." Sam nodded. "Only one. It sounds too simple." "The greatest changes usually are." The young man looked uncertain. "Will 1 page really change my life?" Sam looked toward the setting sun before answering. "No, the page won't. But the person you become by reading 1 page every day will." The evening breeze drifted gently through the village. Birds crossed the glowing sky as daylight slowly faded into night. The young man held the old book carefully, and for the first time in a very long while, hope replaced doubt. Sam watched him walk away with a quiet smile. Not because he knew what the future would bring, but because he understood something that most people spend their entire lives trying to discover. Your future isn't built during one extraordinary moment. It is built during the ordinary moments that nobody applauds. It is built every time you choose learning over excuses, every time you choose discipline over comfort, every time you continue after motivation disappears, every page you read, every skill you practice, every promise you keep to yourself. Those small, invisible victories become the foundation of an extraordinary life. Never underestimate what one focused hour can do. 1 hour becomes 1 day. 1 day becomes 1 month. 1 month becomes 1 year. And 1 year of quiet consistency can accomplish what a lifetime of wishing never will. So don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Don't wait until you have more money. Don't wait until you feel motivated. Start with what you have. Start where you are. Read 1 page. Learn 1 lesson. Improve 1 skill. Take 1 step. Because 1 small decision today may become the reason your entire life looks different tomorrow. And remember, great lives are never built in giant leaps. They are built 1 consistent day at a time. Thank you for your time. Subscribe.